So Gaffer, Saturday's win at Maidenhead was certainly a welcome result. It's lifted up all the spirits around everybody in and around the club. How important was it to get those first 3 points?
Well, it's always massive to get the first 3 points on the board, just for confidence, supporters in some players and players in other players. You've got to get that feeling that you're comfortable with the people around you. And when you've got new lads, they don't really know the strengths and weaknesses yet of the older ones, the ones that've been here before, and vice versa. And but what it showed me is that, and showed everybody, that we could get the game that we're looking for, albeit for one half. And then the circumstances changed and we had to defend, and I was just really pleased with our spirit of defending. I think that was really important to us. It looked to me like we were desperate to keep that game, as we were, of course, but there was no shrinking violets, there was nobody that missed a tackle, there was nobody that pulled out of something or turned their back on something. So all in all, it was, to answer your question, it was a great, we needed that win on that day, and when we look back at it, you're thinking it wouldn't bear thinking about if we'd have got beat in that game, because we'd have been under more pressure to get the next run of wins, not just the next win, but the next run of wins. But that was a nice one to get.
Now, of course, it's only one match, and the challenge now will be to build on that. However, you must have been delighted, like you just said, to have an early glimpse, particularly in that first half, of how ruthless your side can be in front of goal when they're at their best.
Yeah, well, we tweaked a little bit. We made a couple of changes. We tried to get a couple of the lads a little bit further up the pitch, and I thought we held it up well as strikers, and it brought other people into the game. We did a lot more. There was a lot more combination type play, and as you say, we recognised our game a little bit more. So it was nice to score 4 goals, because they were 4 quality goals, but we'd also created quite a few chances. When you look at the newspapers and you see how many goals, shots on target and how many shots off target, we was one of the better ones in our league on the day.
It was a real talking night performance, despite the fact that 2 of the key players on Saturday, Connor Lemonhay-Evans and Amani Little, were actually playing in different positions that we've seen them before. That must have been very pleasing as well. Is it something that you've been planning for some time now?
Well, we thought on the day that, against Maidenhead, we thought that would be good for us. Now, that won't necessarily mean that we keep that going forever. But, both of those have played wide-ish anyway, and it can give them the licence to get further forward than if one or both are playing in the centre of midfield. Of course, on the day we had Asa and Lapsley, who were 2 experienced lads who could sort of marshal the middle, which we certainly did in the first half. But it was a little bit. It wasn't a midfield game, Maidenhead. It was straight up into their strikers, and then we had to try and play our way out with them putting us under pressure. So. So they both played very well, and they both had a big part to play in the game, but it won't necessarily mean that will be their position forevermore.
You touched upon it, that it was sometimes a little bit route one from Maidenhead, and obviously having been
a little bit
falling up at half time, got to 4-3. That was in with 66 minutes gone, and there was 8 minutes of injury time. It was very easy for the defence to buckle, but they stood firm and they threw bodies on the line, didn't they?
They did, and as I said, you can see whether somebody is not brave or not into it or not 100% making sure that the opposition don't get a shot on target. You need to stop the crosses, you need to try and win first ball in the penalty area. If you don't win that, you've got to win the second one. And there was a lot of that going on because they were a big team, and they did get onto a few firsts, and we had to make sure that we got at least to the second or the third or whatever it was, or 4th or 5th on some occasions, you know what I mean? So, no, the boys held out, and I think I'm hoping that we'll become stronger because of that game, and because of our spirit.
Now, talking against Grimsby on Saturday is certainly an attractive fixture on paper, and it wouldn't look out of place in the EFL. It's further evidence of the strength of this league, isn't it? And it presents another big challenge for your side.
Yeah, it does. We've had a good look at them. They're a good football team. Hursty, normally gets himself a group of lads that can play and can compete. I don't think he quite knows, from what I hear, that he's quite knows his best team. So he's still learning about that particular team that he's brought in, because it's always difficult when you've got relegated to know who to keep, who to move out, who to move in, and but they've been a league side now for a little while, and we've got to treat them with respect, and I'm sure they'll treat us with respect as well. So yeah, it'll be an interesting game, because it actually feels like you say, it feels as if it's an EFL game, and the same when we play Southend.